I'm gonna be redoing some nursery rhymes. Mary had a little lamb and no fucks did it give. So everywhere that Mary went, it said, I'm not walking, you dumb bitch. Go by yourself, you fucking cunt. Rockabye baby in the treetop. I know this is supposed to say it fell out, but how about, as it fell, it got stuck. What about, that old woman who lived in a shoe and had so many kids and she didn't know what to do? How about you give one of your kids to go get a job, to make money, to buy a house that isn't a fucking shoe? I mean, really. Fucking really. Somebody goes, this is about the Great Depression. This is about that fucking Indian woman that had like 20 kids and was living in a fucking covered wagon. I don't want to hear that. It said fucking shoe. How tiny are these fucking people? How many people are living in my shoes? I have some big ass feet. I mean, I am going off topic here. I'm supposed to be talking about nursery rhymes, but I guess I was still on the nursery rhyme thing, I guess. Old Mother Hubbard got in her cupboard to give the dog a bone. She looked in the cupboard and found she had none. That's another one that's about some depressing shit. Mother Hubbard can't afford to feed her dog. Why does Mother Hubbard have a dog? If she can't afford to feed her dog, she probably can't afford to feed herself. And this is where Chinese people got the idea to eat fucking dogs. Every bad habit in society. Like having too many kids and living in a fucking van. The old woman in the fucking shoe. Or the three, I love the Three Little Bears. The Three Little Bears. Or as some people call it, fucking Goldilocks. They never gave it to you straight in nursery rhymes. They always sugarcoated it. They didn't tell you. If you walk into the woods and come upon three bears and one of them's the mother and one of them's the cub, and you take shit from her cub, she will fucking maul you. You will die. None of those fairy tales are realistic. I guess everyone's like, well, they're not supposed to be. They're for children. We don't want to expose them to such violence and degradation and... If you knew what really happened in Sleeping Beauty, or what I've heard really happened in that story when the thing was a book, you wouldn't, yeah. While she was asleep, she was raped and had children. While she was fucking asleep. He turned this into a fucking love story. About a bitch who took a nap and woke up because some guy kissed her. They wonder why our generation's messed up, when the entire generation was filled by fairy tales that weren't real. Oh, and the fact that Snow White is absolutely retarded because it's symptoms for a drug. My favorite Disney story is Mulan, because it's the only one that doesn't paint her as ultra feminine. It paints her as the opposite, but it doesn't give her lesbian tendencies. You don't see Mulan acting like a man, dressing like a man, socializing with men. You don't see her as a... Too many shows do that. Like, they take a strong woman, and because she's a strong woman, she's a not into men woman. She's not a straight woman. Nothing wrong with gay people, and someone's going to see this, become offended, and piss all over what I just said, and completely ignore what I just said. But I think that it's important to let people know that you can be the opposite of what your gender says without being the opposite of what your gender says. In another way. Is any of this making sense? I've been up all night. I just had coffee. And I felt like making a YouTube video. I'm very unsuccessful at it, and I know. But I have blue hair right now. And I don't care if you think it's bad or not. I don't really give a crap. Another fairy tale. Let me think of it. Frosty the Snowman. That's creepy as shit. Because you don't know where that water ends up. Like, it's a magical snowman melted at the end of freaking, winter. And, like, what happens to him when he's what? Does he go down the drain? Is he in, like, my shower? Is there a living puddle of water in my shower? Frosty has theoretically seen everybody naked in the world. How's that make you feel? There's a song called Frosty the Pervert. There's a reason for it. I think if he came back to life as a snowman now, he would be a complete and total pervert. He'd been like, you know what? I'm not so good anymore. Yeah. Not that he'd admit to it, because perverts don't admit to that. Oh, Jack and the Beanstalk. That's an interesting one. The guy buys some magic beans, and then he sees a huge beanstalk, and climbs it, and there's a giant, and a goose that shits golden eggs. Yep, this sounds like a fucking mushroom hallucination. I mean, yeah, it's a mushroom hallucination for you. They make no sense. But yeah, how do you explain that? How did Jack explain that to his mom? You know, Mom, today something interesting happened. I sold something that I wasn't supposed to. It was our only source of food. You know what I got for it? Imagine his mother was a ghetto black woman, though. You about to get an ass whooping, you better go down there and get that damn cowboy. You gotta admit, that would have made the story more entertaining. But, Mom, I got magic bean. Would have explained if it was drugs, too. What if it's actually about the ghetto and a guy going on a trip and losing everything he owns and having to go back and live with his mama? What if that's what that's about? What if it's just a one long-ass don't take drugs because you'll hallucinate about giants and lose all your shit and have to go live with your old mama? What if that's what Jack and the Beanstalk is really telling us? I'm getting into the thick of the shit right now. There was a book that we read in school. It's called In a Dark, Dark Room. And the book ends with a girl that she has a ribbon on her neck and she takes it off, her head rolls off. How does that even work? Does the doctor go, like her and her parents were hanging out at like a sawmill, okay, and the only thing that got hurt was her neck, her head came off. They found her, put it back on, and she came back to life, so they just put that ribbon on there, and they're like, you can't take it off. So they told her parents this. They go, you'll be okay, you can live, you just can't take the ribbon off, or turn your head, or, headbang. You can't be a fan of metal bands, because that's kinda, she couldn't do a lot of things, so, that'd be a really sad existence. But it's weird how a lot of our fairy tales are really fucked up stories, or they take them and they change them a little bit to fit the psyche of a child, or what they think the psyche of a child is. But I think that's a load of crap, because, and I actually wrote something on Tumblr about this, that I think when you are a kid, they tell you about all these fantasy worlds, the adults tell you about them, so you think the adults know about them, and you think that the adults are part of them, and you think that when you grow up, you will be superhuman, and you will be this and that, and boo-boo, and then you realize when you get older, that what you were in a hurry to do, that you can't, and that life actually sucks, and that's why those worlds were created, to keep you happy, and give you something to hold on to. through the bitterness and coldness and harshness that is adulthood and crap. But you didn't realize that. You didn't realize that. No one told you that. No one told you what you were in for. And you are expected to just get used to it. And it's just, now what I wrote might have been put more poetically, and I might be able to find that post somewhere, but, don't know if I can find it today. But, I will link that in the description, actually, because not a post, but a picture of the post, and hopefully it's readable and legible, and this is going on 11 minutes, so toodles.